The dot-com bubble crash of 2000 might have the worst thing that happened on an entire generation of investors. First, those investment in Nasdaq Composite Index lost 75% between the early 2000s and the late 2002. Then, scared by the losses, many stay away from technology stocks. And one decision like this can cost you thousands of dollars. Why? Because between September 2002 and April 2019, the index has gained more than 800% since then. In other words, a $10,000 investment made in 2000 is now worth nearly $800,000 today. Technology stocks can be scary, especially for those who feel they don't understand how the latest technology actually work. In this video, I'll try to simplify the sector, help you to feel more comfortable investing in it, and other factors to consider. Hi there, welcome to Investor's Game. Today, we're gonna talk about how to invest in technology stocks. Don't forget to share this video with family and friends and hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. Now, let's get started. Technology stocks represent companies that research, develop, or manufacture products and/or services that make use of technology. With each passing year, every business, regardless of what it does, has become more reliant on technology. For example, McDonald's announced that it was acquiring an artificial intelligence company to help improve the drive-thru experience at stores. Does that make McDonald's a tech company? Not quite. It's important to look at the final product or service a company offers. Despite the amount of technology behind delivering them, Big Macs are still burgers, not technology. To get a better idea for the different types of technology companies and stocks in the world, we can look at the broad subcategories. Number 1, software providers. These companies write code that helps you to run programs. Microsoft is the biggest software provider in the industry. Number 2, hardware providers. Instead of code, these companies produce physical pieces of technology that you can hold in your hands. Cisco, for example, made modems, switches, and routers that help data flow through the internet. Number 3, semiconductors. These companies made the computer chips that make the machine work. Technically, also hardware providers. Intel is the largest semiconductor player today. Number 4, Internet information providers. These are the websites you'll visit to find information. They include many familiar names such as Google and Facebook. They largely rely on advertising for sales. Number 5, telecommunication. Finally, we have the companies that help connect everyone, either by providing direct internet connectivity or via wireless mobile plans on smartphones. Verizon and AT&T are the leaders here. But the technology industry is driven by technology innovation. That might seem obvious for you, but it's worth nothing that the pace of technology innovation is only accelerating as time goes on. So what drives the technology sector? In the end, it's the intersection of problems that need to be solved, and technology workers, builders, and entrepreneurs that are working to solve those problems for a profit. It's really as simple as that. So what's driving change in each part of technology industry? Number 1, software providers. By far, the biggest thing happening here is the massive transaction to a software as a service. Here, companies sell subscriptions to a software that's hosted on the cloud. Number 2, hardware providers. In essence, companies need to have the best mix of product performance and cost. Sometimes here are high switching costs that lock customers in, like servers relying on cost switches, but these advantages can erode over time. Number 3, semiconductors. Like hardware providers, companies that make computer chips are constantly called upon to come with the best possible chip for the lowest possible price. This can lead rapidly to commoditization, which is great for customers and also great for companies. Number 4, information providers. The company here started out focusing on one thing but have rapidly expanded their products. For instance, Google has created 8 different products that today have more than 1 billion active users. The key factor, information providers have access to unprecedented amounts of data. That data is primarily sold in the form of advertisement placement, but other users can develop over time. Number 5, telecommunication. There's a delicate balance between value providers and cost. However, because of enormous upfront infrastructure cost, the barriers to entry have narrowed this field to a few key providers. The biggest new driver of growth is coming from 5G technology. But what metrics should you look for? This underscores the importance of investigating the sustainable competitive advantage, or moats, of the tech stocks you invest in. Generally speaking, moats come in 4 different forms. Number 1, high switching cost. Once customers start using a product or services, it's difficult to switch to a competitor provider. Think of how telecom companies used to lock subscribers in 2 years contract with high cancellation fees as an example. Number 2, network effects. This happens when each additional user of a service makes a service more valuable. Now here is more evident than with social media sites. Number 3, low-cost production. If a company can produce something of equal value for less money, it will continually win over customers. Today, this means not only physical goods but also virtual ones, like data. Number 3, intangible assets. This includes things like brand value, patents, and regulatory protection. There's no standard metric that can measure the value of a company moat. It's more of a holistic approach that uses both data and logic to arrive at a conclusion that makes sense to you. It's also important to evaluate how the company will fare if a recession arose in the near future. The best way to do this is by evaluating number 1, cash on hand. Includes cash, short-term investment, and long-term investments. Number 2, long-term debt, money that will be paid out over the coming years. And number 3, free cash flow, all of the cash provided by operations minus capital expenditures. Generally speaking, companies that have lots of cash on hand, little debt, and a strong cash flow can not only survive a downturn, but can get stronger as a result. That's because they take advantage of lower prices. They can buy back their own shares at lower prices, acquiring startups at a discount, or simply offer the goods for less than the competition. An important caveat to this has to do with telecom stocks. Because the infrastructure costs are so high, these companies always have much more debt than cash. In general, it's okay, because free cash flow are usually very strong. If they aren't, however, that's a red flag for investors. But what are the best stocks to invest in it? Many of the most valuable companies in the world are technology companies. Here are some of the most dominant and impressive tech stocks. Number 1, Microsoft. Microsoft started out with the raging success of Windows operating system back in the 1990s. Since then, however, it has become a three-punch behemoth that is major force in the tech industry. Of the different niches within the tech industry, Microsoft is primarily a software provider, though it still has operating in hardware as well. Here's what those three lines of business looks like. Number 1, productivity. Office 365, which includes Outlook, Whar, Excel, and other tools, is the primary driver of revenue in this division, and increased by LinkedIn revenue as well. Number 2, personal computing. The hardware division gets sales primarily from Xbox system and the Surface tablet, as well as from software solutions like Windows 10 and the company's search engine like Bing.com. And last, the intelligent cloud. Like other huge tech players, Microsoft offers cloud solutions via its Azure division. Next, Alphabet. Alphabet is much better known by Google. The company doesn't really qualify as software or hardware provider. Instead, it's an internet information provider. That makes sense because the company's mission stated from the start has been to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. To that end, Google has created 8 different products that today have more than 1 billion active users. Number 1, search. The company's bread and butter. This is where you Google something on the company's homepage to answer a question you have. They have Gmail, the company's email solution. They have Google Maps that has become the go-to source for navigation. Also YouTube, the video sharing sites of the second most popular in the world behind the Google.com. They have Google Chrome, an internet browser. Android, an operating system for mobile devices. Google Play Store, a location for buying apps, and Google Drive, a cloud solution that allows you to store and share documents. With the exception of Google Play Store, almost all of these offerings are free. That might lead you to wonder, how does Google make money? Google collects more data from these free services than any other organization in the history of the world. Its services are ubiquitous, people are using them all the time. Google then turn around and sell advertising spot to companies, guaranteeing that the right ad will appear on the front right eyes at the right time. That's why Alphabet's real moat lies in low-cost production. But the data it collects from its billion of users flows at the rate that can be beat. While no one can guarantee that the big tech stocks won't suffer volatility and dips, their growth may likely outweigh any losses in the long term. Investors looking to build and diversify portfolios should seriously consider adding them to their asset mix. They offer returns that are really matched by any other kind of stocks. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Let me know in the comment box, would you invest in Google or Microsoft? Subscribe to my channel because every week I'm in YouTube with new content, and do not forget to activate the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. See you next time.